Well, dear viewers, we're still with you on our today's breakfast show, and now we're coming to a very interesting topic, which is actually concerning the environment or the International Environment Day. Why it's actually important? Because it affects our daily life. How? Because we are destroying our planet with our daily activities, pollution. We are increasing through our activities the carbon emissions. So we're coming to the climate change and how the impact or the great impact of the climate change on our daily life. We have here in Egypt also a national day for the environment, which is coming to on the 27th of Jan. The Egyptian or the Egyptian government designated the 27th of January as National Environment Day, following a recent approval by the Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli. We are here not to actually not to discuss such topic, because to highlight the exerted efforts of the Egyptian government concerning the or combating the climate change, but actually because it's really essential to our life, how it became like a top priority to all the countries worldwide, and it's became like a top theme or a top item on all the summits or world summits nowadays. So we're going to discuss this with our dear guest, Mrs. Amira Said, journalist and specialized in environmental issues. Mrs. Amira, bonjour, morning.
Good morning.
So it's a very important and essential topic when we talk about environment or the ecosystems, which is threatened by our activities or daily activities through the pollution which we are increasing, which affects the farmlands, the forests, the oceans, and everything. Now, talking first of all to the exerted efforts of the Egyptian government concerning this topic, and the collaboration also between the public sector, private sector, and the NGOs concerning the climate change.
So first, totally agree with you. You mentioned a very important topic, which is like
of course we're gonna refer to the COP27.
We can see now the impact of climate change. We now see like. For example, which is also the main theme of this year's World Environment Day, like the land degradation, desertification, and drought as well. And that's why also the United Nations Environment Program mentioned now that like a fifth of the Earth's land is now degraded, a matter that affects around like 40% of the globe. So it's not like a nation's, a one nation problem. It is like a global challenge. That's why this requires like a collaborative effort to drive a collective actions to address this problem. If we have seen the steps taken by Egypt, like whether on the local or the international level, we will like realize there is a genuine will by the Egyptian government to address this problem, and also to transfer Egypt's leading experience in this regard to other African countries, because Africa, though it is the least contributor to like like global emissions, it is the least like the most continent that is vulnerable to the impact of climate change. So if we like highlight the local or the national efforts that are being taken by the Egyptian government, now Egypt had its own national climate change strategy, and actually there has been like many efforts between and coordination between the concerned, if we can say, the ministers within the Egyptian government to address this problem. Now we have the project of the Green Cities.
Amira, here we're going to refer to the special exerted efforts of the Ministry of Environment and Ministry of Planning, of course, in concerning of this topic.
Exactly. So in Egypt, for example, now we have like a move towards, for example, turning to clean or green transportation. there is another project to turn the Egyptian cities into green cities as well. We have seen also there are many projects to address the emissions and turn into green city, and also increase. As I mentioned, now there is a land degradation problem. So in Egypt, if we are speaking about the agricultural sector, there are many incentives, as you mentioned, to foster the public-private sector partnerships in order to increase the cultivation of lands. For example, we have the 1.5 million Turban, which is a leading project which is a leading project here in Egypt, and all this will help to ensure a decent life for the Egyptian citizens. That's why we have a leading initiative which puts or gives a top priority to the environmental dimension, which is the presidential initiative Decent Life. On international and continental level, we will see that Egypt, for example, Egypt hosted the 27th edition of the Parties Conference, which is COP27, and many initiatives have been launched, Aware Initiative, Fast Initiative, and many initiatives that address the impact of climate change on diverse sectors. Also, Egypt is trying to help other African countries as well by transferring its leading experience to other African countries. And Egypt also offers many incentives to the private sector to be more involved in the green policies.
Yep. Referring here also, as you mentioned, to the strategy of the Sustainable Development of 2030, actually, of the Egyptian government. Also referring to the COP27 and how Egypt was the voice of Africa, referring to and defending the rights of the developing countries against the industrial countries who actually occurred, or the main reason for the whole pollution and the whole emissions from them. So we actually forward or asked for the industrial countries to bear their political responsibility actually for the developing countries. It was mentioned as a budget for helping the industrial countries like $100 million to help them to combat the climate change. But till now, actually, nothing happened concerning this obligation. I mean, they didn't move. They are escaping their political responsibility. How you just evaluate this?
Yeah, as you mentioned, you referred to a very important point now that there are many pledges that haven't been met or implemented by the industrial countries that are responsible for the severe impact of climate change. That's why when Egypt hosted COP27, it was held under the main theme Together for Implementation. It's time to move from vision into action. We have to address how to implement the already existing pledges. We do not need more pledges. We have to already work on the already existing pledges. So that's why now there is, if we can say, there is ongoing momentum within the region. If we are speaking about Africa, COP27 was held in Egypt, COP28 was held also in the MENA region in the United Arab Emirates. So there is really momentum that Egypt and other African countries are trying to make the best use of this momentum to address the African concerns, and also to apply pressure on the developed countries and the industrial countries to meet their pledges, because now the African countries, they are paying the price of all the, as I mentioned, though the African continent is the least contributor to the global emissions, it is the most vulnerable continent to these severe impacts of climate change. Yes.
Exactly. That's why we are trying to raise the awareness of the people, and through our exerted efforts and the Egyptian governments to raise the awareness concerning the climate change, and which we are suffering nowadays also from the heat wave here in Egypt and everywhere in the world. So, Mrs. Amira Said, journalist and specialized in environmental issues, thank you and have a lovely day. Thank you. Well, dear viewers, we're coming to the end of our morning show today, or breakfast show today. Thanks for watching and stay tuned to us. Thank you.